One team the world will be looking out for in this FIFA Women's World Cup is the Atlas Lionesses of Morocco. Not just because they are underdogs in this tournament, but because they are a perfect representation of dreams do come true for every girl in the Middle East that has been deprived of an opportunity to play soccer. I mean, I need not remind you all that patriarchal norms, sexism, and every other forms of discrimination has been plaguing this society and this part of the world where men and parents see football as a male-dominated industry and girls should not be allowed to practice the sport. But I want to think and I believe with Morocco's participation, parents, fathers, and mothers will sit back at home, watch these women play the sport, and say, my girl should get this opportunity. She wants to do so. So that is why Morocco's participation and qualification is quite special to me. Well, Ghizlaine Chebbak and teammates qualified for the FIFA Women's World Cup by virtue of finishing second in the 2022 Women's Africa Cup of Nations hosted by Morocco. And I want to tell you this feat was attained thanks to the enormous, I had to actually stress on that because the enormous investment by the Royal Moroccan Football Federation. They did enormous work, not just building their men's team or building the youth, categories, but they're also investing in the women's category, and that paid off because in Morocco's state participation in the Women's Africa Cup of Nations, they went right to the finals where they unfortunately lost to a bigger and more experienced side as South Africa. I want to tell you the last time Morocco took part in the Women's Africa Cup of Nations dates as far back as 2000s, where they lost all group games. And that team was almost inexistent. We only saw them in 2006 in the Arab Women's Cup, where they finished second. And they came back as well in other competitions. But on the continent, Morocco was quite, I would say, relegated. They were not at the forefront. They were not making headlines. But they stunned the world and stunned the continent when they finished second in the 2022 Women's Africa Cup of Nations, picking a qualification for the very first time, an Arab nation going to the World Cup. How can we talk about the enormous investment by the Royal Moroccan Football Federation without talking about one of their reforms? Well, one thing they did was definitely create a women's second flight competition that would help these teams, women teams in Morocco get really competitive and also open doors for them to go out and select from the grassroots. And that is why I'm actually so confident that Morocco is going to have a say in the Women's World Cup because the teams, they know what is at stake. They know the enormous investment that has been put in place. And in the build-up to these tournaments, we've heard teams like South Africa, we've heard teams like Nigeria, we've heard teams like Zambia complain of match bonuses and other benefits. But Morocco hasn't said anything. They are just in their own corner preparing for this tournament, knowing fully well they will be facing two-time winners Germany, and they will be playing against South Korea, the target ladies, and also Colombia, and they are preparing for that. And without preparations, I just want people to watch out for these teams because they have a lot to offer. Now let's talk about the coach, none other 2018 Women's Coach of the Year, Renat Pedros. You know about that man? Well, let me tell you about him. I talk about Renat Pedros like he's my uncle or something, but he isn't. He's a great man. He joined Morocco in 2020, and just imagine 2020, 2021, 2022. The first achievement with this Moroccan side is definitely win the silver medal in the Women's Africa Cup of Nations. A little bit of his exploits at Olympique Lyonnais as a coach. He joins them in 2017 and was able to take them into the Europa Women's Champions League, retaining the title for the third and fourth time, and also to the Division 1 Feminine, if I can remember, making them, to finish, retain, emerge champions for the 10th and 13 times. That's to tell you, he knows exactly what he's doing. And some of these players as well have been playing in other countries, and so he's quite familiar with women's football. Renat Pedros has it at the tip of his hands, And I know he's going to, concoct the right team to win Germany, South Korea, and Colombia. Don't think of it. Talk about the squad that is already in these host nations. We talk about 23 women's squad that will be taking part in this FIFA Women's World Cup. We have 3 goalkeepers, we have 7 defenders, we have 5 midfielders, and 8 attackers. We have, popular names like Ghizlaine Chebbak, that is definitely their captain, and also a very key element in the entire squad. And also how with her 21 international goals, she will be bringing her A game against Germany in the opener. And also we talk about really popular names like Arisa Inez and Fatima Taknarit. Well, I would like to hear from you. What do you think is going to do excellently well, or what do you think is going to bring in, more in the FIFA Women's World Cup amongst Africa's representatives, not other than Zambia, Morocco, South Africa, and Nigeria? What do you think is going to bring in their A game? Well, just a little reminder, we've talked about Zambia. You can check their videos. I don't know where it's going to appear, but you can check their videos, and we will be coming up with South Africa and Nigeria before the tournament starts. Thank you so much for supporting. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, comment, and also come back for more. We have a lot of exciting things. I want to drop on videos every day. This is my commitment for the FIFA Women's World Cup. It's going to be titled, FIFA Women's World Cup banters. Every day we'll have something to talk about every day. So do make sure you come around. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful time. Bye-bye.